They say some secrets don't fade, they wait. And when the time is right, they come knocking. For Meghan Markle, that knock came not from the palace, not from the press, but from a man who once knew her heartbeat, Trevor Engelson. Long before royal titles, long before crowns and castles, there was Trevor. A Hollywood producer. A man in love with a woman who seemed unstoppable. To Trevor Engelson, Meghan Markle was charm wrapped in mystery. Ambitious, magnetic, with dreams too big for any one room to hold. He thought he was marrying a rising star. But what he didn't realize, insiders whisper, is that Meghan wasn't just chasing success. She was designing it. Every step, every smile, every exit, perfectly timed. Every friendship, every opportunity, a calculated move on a board only she could see. Their wedding in Jamaica looked like paradise. Ocean breeze, barefoot laughter, champagne in the sand. Yet there was something else that night, a glimpse of control beneath the glamour. Guests later recalled how Meghan Markle, even as the bride, managed the rhythm of the party like a director on set. It wasn't chaos, it was choreography. Every moment bent quietly to her will. And that, people say, was the first sign of who she truly was, not just the star of the show, but its producer. They danced, they toasted, they laughed. But somewhere between the fireworks and the midnight waves, Trevor Engelson caught a look in her eyes. Calm, calculating, confident. Like she already knew this love story had an expiration date. He didn't question it then. Love makes you blind. But that night was the beginning of a story that would one day outgrow both of them. Years passed, and the glow of that Jamaican wedding faded into memories. Boxes packed, photos gone, names erased. Meghan Markle was no longer a wife trying to build a life in Hollywood. She had become a woman rebuilding herself from scratch, one new identity at a time. Los Angeles to Toronto, each city, each friendship, each chapter more curated than the last. By 2016, Meghan had become a fixture in Toronto's scene. The actress everyone wanted to know, yet no one really knew. Behind her kindness was calculation. Behind every spontaneous laugh was direction. And that's when Prince Harry appeared, the wild royal whose charm and rebellion matched her ambition. Their meetings were secret. No cameras, no escorts, no approvals from the palace. Just whispers. Two people from different worlds finding comfort in each other's silence. It sounded romantic, but those who were there say there was something else, something deliberate in the way Meghan Markle managed the space around her. Because when Prince Harry flew in for one of his early visits, something reportedly went wrong. It started as a quiet reunion, but insiders claimed the night turned into something unexpected. A private gathering that got too loud, too risky, too close to exposure. Toronto's nightlife crowd called it a run, a night where indulgence met secrecy, where the right names kept the wrong stories from ever being told. And according to those who whispered afterward, Meghan Markle wasn't just a guest that night. She was the calm at the center of the storm. The one who knew when to lower the lights, when to turn the music, when to make a phone call. Her control wasn't loud. It was silent, strategic, surgical. Then came the rumor that changed everything. The name Princess Eugenie. No one knows if she was ever really there, or if her name was simply dragged into the whispers by mistake. But in royal circles, even the possibility of such a connection was enough to start a quiet panic. Think about it, Prince Harry, still haunted by the Vegas scandal, his new love Meghan Markle, and a royal cousin all tangled in one unverified story. It could have been catastrophic. One headline, one photo, and the entire royal narrative would have been rewritten overnight. But by dawn, the story was gone. No photos, no witnesses, no traces, just silence. And in the world of power, silence doesn't mean nothing happened. It means someone made sure it never would. Sources later said the cleanup was fast and clean. Calls made, favors pulled, loose ends tightened. By morning, the only thing left was the echo of what almost was. And somewhere, across an ocean, Trevor Engelson recognized that pattern again. That same invisible hand that could erase entire memories without leaving a mark. He'd seen Meghan Markle do it before. When she left their marriage, she didn't just walk away. She vanished from that version of her life completely. Friends divided, numbers changed, belongings returned, messages unanswered. Not out of anger. Out of discipline. That was her real power. Reinvention. Erasure. Control. And now she had brought that same mastery to the biggest stage of all, the British monarchy. By the time Prince Harry introduced Meghan Markle to the world, the woman beside him was not the one Trevor had known. Gone was the laughter, the chaos, the late-night parties that never seemed to end. In her place stood a duchess, polished, graceful, and untouchable. People called it transformation. But maybe it wasn't change at all. Maybe it was just Meghan doing what she always did best, rewriting her story before anyone else could. Because when Meghan Markle closes a chapter, she doesn't just end it. She burns the page. And this was just the beginning of the fire. After that night in Toronto, the air around Meghan Markle changed. Quietly, invisibly, like a phone left ringing in another room. There were no headlines, no scandals, just sudden absences. People who had once filled her life began to fade from view. Contacts vanished. Photos disappeared. Group chats went silent. It was as if the old Meghan had been unplugged from the grid. To outsiders, it looked like growth, a woman focusing on love, on new beginnings, on the man who'd captured her heart. But those who'd known her longer felt something else. A deliberate stillness. The way she cut ties not with emotion, but with precision. Trevor Engelson recognized it instantly. He'd seen that silence before, right after their divorce. When Meghan Markle decides to move forward, she doesn't drag the past behind her. She buries it. No explanations, no drama, just clean exits. Friends described it like watching a door close quietly, not slammed, not locked, but sealed forever. So when news broke of her royal romance, Trevor Engelson wasn't surprised. But he was shaken. Because the woman smiling beside Prince Harry was a stranger wearing familiar eyes. The gestures were the same, the voice was the same, but the softness was gone. It was replaced by something colder, calmer, more dangerous. And yet, the world adored her. She was the fairy tale come true, the American actress who'd stolen a prince's heart. Headlines called her a modern Cinderella. The palace called her a fresh start. But Trevor Engelson called her what she'd always been, a strategist. Because when Prince Harry met Meghan Markle, it wasn't him leading her into royalty, it was her leading him into her world. The late-night dinners, the coded calls, the perfectly timed leaks. Everything around them was curated. To Harry, it felt like freedom. To Meghan, it was control. Insiders from those early days say Meghan Markle gave Prince Harry something no one else could, safety within chaos. He could be wild, impulsive, human, and she'd make sure the world never saw it. She handled the whispers, managed the photos, crafted the angles. And soon, Harry couldn't breathe without her permission. That's the thing about control. It never feels like a cage until you realize who's holding the key. Because the woman who once rolled laughter into every party now rolled silence into every room. She knew the power of a calm face, the weapon of a smile. She became the one person who could protect Harry or destroy him, simply by telling the truth. And that kind of loyalty doesn't come from love. It comes from leverage. By now, Meghan Markle was untouchable. Every headline painted her as strong, compassionate, misunderstood. Every appearance felt like redemption. But behind that polish, the ghosts of old stories refused to die. People from her past, co-stars, assistants, even distant friends, began to whisper again. They didn't accuse, they remembered. They remembered how Meghan had a way of adjusting reality. How facts could bend in her hands until truth itself became flexible. And yet, that's exactly why she rose so fast. She didn't just survive the spotlight, she mastered it. While others stumbled over fame, Meghan Markle learned to choreograph it. She didn't need to silence rumors. She replaced them with bigger stories. She didn't deny accusations. She outran them. Every interview, every charity project, every polished photo shoot was a new coat of paint over the same house. Still, even the brightest paint cracks. Old photos resurfaced. Softer face, different features. Fans called it glow up. Critics called it reconstruction. But those who'd known her before said it looked like armor. Every change another wall. Every refinement another disguise. And whether cosmetic or symbolic, the transformation worked. Meghan Markle became an idea, not a person, an image so controlled that truth could no longer reach her. Even Prince Harry seemed to dissolve into her orbit. The rebel prince who once mocked protocol now defended it for her. The boy who'd lived in chaos now lived under her calm. Together, they looked perfect, too perfect. And perfection, as Trevor Engelson once said to a friend, never lasts without cracks. Rumors of tension, missteps, silences began to leak from behind palace walls. But each time, Meghan Markle flipped the story. She wasn't the problem. She was the survivor. She wasn't dramatic. She was silenced. And the public believed it because she'd already written the script. That's the real genius of Meghan Markle. She doesn't wait for the narrative. She builds it. Every setback becomes proof of resilience. Every criticism turns into sympathy. She doesn't fight storms. She redirects them. And maybe that's why Trevor Engelson's memories matter so much. Because they're the pieces that don't fit the fairy tale. The late-night arguments. The distance before the fame. The way she'd go quiet, like she was already somewhere else in her mind, planning her next escape. He once said privately that Meghan Markle could walk through fire and never smell like smoke. Maybe he was right. Maybe that's why she's still standing. Because behind every speech, every polished appearance, every flawless portrait, there's another version of her. The one who once sat at Soho House, whispering deals between laughter. The one who kept chaos neat, secrets clean, and stories sharp enough to cut through silence. And that's why her story still haunts the world. Because no matter how many times she rewrites it, the question never changes. If this is what Meghan Markle erased, what's still out there waiting to be found?